So let's talk squats. If you were like me, I was led to believe that the proper way to squat is feet straight. So many distance away from your hips, right? Wrong. If we look at an athlete, let's take Cristiano Ronaldo, since he's in the news all over the place, right? And he's in the midst of a corner kick coming into the crease, right? So the ball is coming in towards the crease and everybody's fighting for that ball. Do you think that when he squats down to jump up, or he needs to squat down to head the ball if it's low, that his feet are going to be straight? That his legs are going to be so much distance away from his hips? Hell no. One foot might be toed out, one might be toed in, his feet might be walking a plank. You want to find the weakness and kill it. Get out of the habit of squatting with your feet straight and, again, so many distance apart and that nature. So I do this with my students as a warm-up, and what we do is we go through the squats. It's just a great way to warm the body up before we do our jumps and then getting into our lunges and steps. And let me run that by you. So we will start wide. Let's go with the easiest one, right? Because when we're wide, that's increases our base of support, so it's easier, right? I actually have them, even my pre-K, I'll have them stand with their feet narrow, right? So like this. And then I'll ask them if they let me push them, and I'll just tap them and watch them fall all over the place. And then I put them in the sumo squat, which is wide toed out, and have them drop down like a lineman, and then try to push them so that they can see, right, that base of support and the importance of it. And that when your feet are narrow, it's harder to balance than it is when they're wider apart. And so we want to focus on those weaknesses. So usually when the feet are narrow. And so the hardest position to squat in is like you're walking a tightrope. So with my one foot in front of the other, okay? And so when I started doing this with my students, I realized that my ankles are rolling. And so what did I do? I just started doing reps of 300 until I got over it. Find the weakness, kill it as fast as you can. Don't play around with it. Oh, I know that that's my weakness, so I'll do it on Mondays and what? No. Get rid of it as fast as you can. So, and then dumbbells. If I got one dumbbell in my one hand and I'm over here, just think of how much more beneficial that is than putting a barbell on my back, on my spine, loading it. I always talk about that. It's just not good. In real life, you pick things up with your hand and you bring it up to you, right? It's just not what you set on your back. You're not even getting it up, right? Up there. Well, I guess you can say you can snatch it up there and stuff like that, but dumbbells are so much more beneficial. And again, guys, we don't want to waste time. Time is everything. Time's the most valuable resource that we have. Why waste it? So if you want to get your side planks in and your posterior oblique system in the back and everything, go one dumbbell. One dumbbell, but be smart about it, right? If you're watching in the mirror and you're all twisted up and you know the weight's too heavy and it's got your spine in a bad position, that's not good. But as you progress it smartly, you won't have to do planks. You won't have to do glute bridges and stuff like that of that nature. You're getting it all in one shot, right? And that grip strength, right? Which is naturally how you pick something up in real life. So find those weaknesses. So we go wide, toed out. I just have them do two, right? And then we go toed in, right? And then I tell them, right? Okay, which one of those two, usually it's the toed in, do you have a hard time with? Toed in, coach. Okay, do two more of those. Okay, so let's go narrow, toed out, and then toed in. One out, one in. Walking the balance beam, right? Find those weaknesses. Oh, my back foot's toed in, and that's the one I have hard time with. Well, that's the one you'll do more of. And then what I do is I have them do that with their hands. So they'll drop down in a push-up position. So they'll start out right here. Fingers out, fingers in. Walking the balance beam, which is the hardest push-up of them all. Right? One hand in, one hand out, constantly changing. And the same thing with the push-ups, just like the squat, right? Oh, your hands need to be here. It needs to be straight. No. Because then when you bring your hands here and you're falling all over the place and you can only squeeze out one and your back is collapsing, that's the one you should be doing. All right? So, tie this in with your warm-up. I usually tie those push-ups, and I've done a video on that, on my crawling. So when I'm crawling on that four corners, I'm constantly, and my feet are doing that. In, out, push, drop down, do a push-up. Crawl, 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 crawl. Drop down, do a push-up. Drop down, do a push-up. Hands all over the place. And then you find the weakness and you kill it. The hardest one is gonna be that balance beam one. So work on that. Body weight just enough for most people before they're falling on their butt. Hey, but when they've fallen on their butt, guess what? They're not gonna do that. They're gonna go back to the old squat, put 250 pounds on their back, and go there. Don't make that same mistake. With that being said, I hope that you guys keep growing, keep learning like myself. Just signed up for another certification from the Great Institute. I'm gonna eat it up because they got 30% off. I'm so excited. Happen to be like, you know what? I should do another certification. Ding! 30% off, Black Friday, Great Institute. A lot of this stuff comes from them, from Gary Gray, guys. I recommend that. Check out the David Weck too for more of that information that I've been talking about with the balance stuff. Happy Thanksgiving. Much love.